Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for another tutorial in Melinda's Rubber Room. I'm Melinda Pierce and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you how to make this fun fold card. It has flaps in the front and then it opens like that. And this shows some of the new designer series paper from Stampin' Up! And I'll talk about that a little bit later, but you can see that gorgeous shine in that paper. So I'm going to point you down to my work surface and get right to it. So the paper that I'm using is called By the Bay. It's 6x6 paper, and you get 48 sheets. I'm just double checking to make sure that's right. Yes, 48 sheets. And it does have this gorgeous glimmer to it. It's not even glimmer, it's like a iridescent shine on some of them. These just have the gold shine on them. And same with this one. But then this one has this kind of iridescent holographic type of look. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it just kind of changes colors in the light, which is just so fun to play with, and it's just so pretty. So I'm just going to go through each of these fairly quickly. This one has a little bit of gold on the swirls here. Actually, I think I showed that one already. Then there's this one, just kind of a Sahara sand with that shimmer. And then there's two that are fairly similar but different background colors. And then there's this one that has like shells on it. And the back sides are just as gorgeous. So you have fun waves, a nice all-purpose type of background, some seashells. This is really pretty. I love those little seashells. And these you can actually cut out with the dies that come with the On the Bay, is that what it's called? Seaside Bay dies. And there's a nice wood background, some more waves, some more shells that you can cut out. You can also cut out these shells and this one, and there is also this paper. So it has a swirl of fish, and it has these large birds and shells or clams that you can also use your dies to cut out. So that's what I'm showing here, is that the die fits with that bird there. Okay, so that is the paper that I'm using, and we're going to start with our base cardstock. I'm using the thick white cardstock, and that measures 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm going to score it at 5 1/2 inches. So I'm just going to take my cutting tool, score with the light gray, and that gives you a nice clean score line. And you do want to use your bone folder just to reinforce those folds, especially when you have a card that has multiple folds to it. Okay, so now we're going to do our triangle flaps, and these are, you need 2 pieces of 3 1/2 by 5 7/16, and we're going to score it out 1/2 inch and mark it at 2 11/16, and I'll walk you through that. So you're going to take your first flap, and I'm going to go to the right hand side of my cutter. I just find that it's easier to score short score lines from the right hand side than to go all the way over here and try to score a 1/2 inch line. So I'm just going to put that at the 1/2 inch line and score with my light gray blade. Then I'm going to turn the card, and on the opposite side of that score line, I'm going to measure 2 11/16. So I'm going to go down to the bottom of my cutter and find that straight edge that has the inch measurements on it. And I'm going to go to 11/16, which is just 1/16 away from the 2 3/4 mark. So you're just going to go to the 2 and then count over 11 of the little lines, which are 1/16 lines. And I'm just going to take my pencil and put a line right there, running right along where your cutting line is on your cutter. Okay, so now I'm going to take that and I'm going to turn it so that I am cutting just outside of the score line that I made and down to that cutting mark that I just drew in there. Move my cutter back down. Okay, just like so. I do the same thing on the other angle, measuring right down to where that score line is and where it intersects my cutting line. Okay, so that's our first flap, and I'm just going to go ahead and erase that little mark I made, and I still need to score this one. I've already made my center mark, so I don't need to do that, but I do need to cut. So just outside of that score line to my pencil mark. Same thing on this side. Erase my pencil mark. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and fold back that score line and reinforce that. Same thing with this triangle. I'm going to bring my card in and open it up, and on this side of the flap on the triangle, I'm going to put adhesive on that and just glue it to the inside of my card. And I'm matching it up to the bottom of the base of my card and the outside. You want it to be a little bit on the outside of your card, otherwise the flaps are not going to fold in very nicely. Okay, I'm just going to fold that in like so, and just bring it a little bit away from that edge of the paper, but right on the edge of the bottom. So again, my fold line is not quite along the side of the card. Just like so. I'm going to go ahead and close this just to make sure that it folds okay. Make any adjustments that I need so that that flap is going to fold in okay, along with the rest of my card. All right, do the same thing with this flap. Make sure that you have your triangle going the right way. So again, I'm gluing it to the inside of my card. I'm putting adhesive on here. Matching up my bottom and putting the fold line just a hair over that edge of that base card, like so. Close that up, make sure my triangles close okay. Again, make any adjustments you might need. You can see I'm kind of adjusting this right-hand side. I did put it too close to the edge of the card, and that's why it's making my paper buckle a little bit. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that, how it opens and closes. So we can move on to decorating. So I have all of my paper cut. Let me see if I can find it now. Here we go. Okay, so I'm using this wave type of paper for the main part of my card. And that piece measures 5 1/4 by 4, and that's just going to go on the inside of this, right on the outside of this main base. See how pretty that other side of that paper is. It's kind of hard to decide which one I want where, but I'm going to go with this one. And that measurement should allow you a nice little border around your card. like so. And then I'm going to do my triangle pieces for the Designer Series paper. These pieces measure 2 3/4 by 5 3/16. And similar to before, I'm going to mark it at 2 5/8 to find the halfway point on these edges. So if you're using a directional type of paper, this one doesn't really matter as far as if it's going this way or this way. But if you do have a paper that is a directional print, like this one that I made, I want all my flowers going in the right direction. You want to put your paper next to each other and have it the way that you want it to be on your card, and you want to make sure that you're measuring down on opposite edges of your cardstock. Otherwise, you're going to have one angle going this way and the other angle going the same direction, and you don't want that. You want your angle going here and your angle going here. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I'm going to bring my paper trimmer in again, and I'm just going to measure 2 5/8 at this time. So let's So this paper is in the new mini catalog that just went live yesterday, along with our celebration. So celebration is in effect, and you can get, with every $50 purchase, you can get a free item. So this paper is in the mini catalog as well as this new stamp set. So this is the Seaside Bay with the coordinating dies. Okay, so we are going to bring in our card base. Go ahead and attach our triangles. And again, you should have a nice little border going all the way around. See if I can get that on straight. I need to try to match up my triangle first. The points going into the center first. Make sure those are straight. Hopefully the rest will fall into line. And then my other piece. This was a card that I showed during my Zoom class on Wednesday. I have those Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time. And I do provide all the measurements ahead of time so that you can make the card along with me. And then we just have a fun time socializing and crafting together after we make the card. So if you'd like to join us, that would be great. You can find out all the information on my Facebook page at Melinda's Rubber Room. And if you see any products that you'd like to purchase, you can do so on my online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net. It's having trouble with my triangles this morning. Okay, there we go. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, some of these images you can cut out with the dies. Excuse me. So I've already done that with the little bird, and I'm going to attach that to the front, if I can find my bird. There we go. And I'm just going to raise him up with some dimensionals. I really like the mini dimensionals. I find myself using those more than the big ones. I just find they're easier to use and you get more for your money, so that's always nice. Add one more up here. So if you're putting your die cut or your embellishment in the center here, just make sure that any adhesive does not overhang these triangles. Otherwise, you're going to glue your card shut. And then, excuse me, on this one, you can see that I decorated the inside with those leftover pieces. I'm just going to kind of place those in the center of those flaps. This is just totally optional. I just didn't want to waste the designer series paper because it's so pretty. And then on the inside, I have a couple of strips of the same paper that I used on the outside. And those measure, actually, I don't have the measurements on there. Those are 5 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just putting these strips in the center. I mean, in the on the sides. And that's just to cover up that seam that I did with those triangle flaps. Like so. And I don't think I'm going to put a greeting on this one. I'm just going to keep it blank for now, just so I can use it as a note card or add my greetings in the future. I do have 2 more triangle pieces. I'm going to add those right up here like I did on the other one, just to bring in some more color up there and to not waste that paper. All right, there we go. And there is that completed card. I hope you enjoyed that and learned a new technique and a new fun fold. I will be having another card next Wednesday on Zoom, and I think it's going to be this one here. It's another fun fold, again using that same paper and stamp set. I'm just in love with it right now, so that's what I'm using, and you can see it's another fun fold card. So I hope you can join me for that card. Again, that's going to be on Wednesday from 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time. You can find out all the latest information on my online Facebook page, www.melindapierce.stampinup.net is where you can find the purchases, where you can make your purchases. And if you'd like to find me on Facebook, you can do so at Melinda's Rubber Room. All right, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.